Alrighty, we are back at it again with another chess game on the road to 1000 ELO. As you can see, I am a 641. I am playing an Italian man who is a 690. So he's a bit of a better player, at least as of right now. If I'm able to win this game, I'll go up 15 points and bring my total to 656. And we gotta lock in. This is a big game. Pretty even matchup though. We've had some crazier matchups. So in this opening game, we've got pawns. Both of us can take pawns. He's kind of matching my moves so far. You know, I moved my pawn up. He moves his queen's pawn, and I'm attacking. But it's a bad move. I'll move my other knight up. What you really want to do in the opening games, especially if you're white, you know, if you're white and you get the first move, if you can get two pawns up here, or even, you know, one here and one here, and get your knights up here protected. You know, if I could somehow get a knight up in this range protected with a pawn, that would be big. And yeah, so what we're looking at here, he's got a knight protected. And what I mean by protected is it can only be taken with a pawn unless it's just going to be a straight trade. And that's what I'm going to do, is I'm just going to straight trade it. And now we do have to move. Yeah. In a bit of a spot here. We need to move the knight. We can't really move it back here on our opening line. You know, it just loses some progress. Can't go here because the queen takes. This, I'm probably just going to push it over here. It's not the best move. But we do have to be careful here because they've got a pawn. And yeah, that was kind of a predictable move. And yep, I totally blundered because regardless of where I move, it gets taken. But here's what we're going to do, because you shouldn't dwell on your past mistakes. So we are going to get that's a tough spot. It's a tough spot to be in. Because this knight is getting taken regardless. What we're going to do is we're going to move this bishop up here and threaten the queen comes here. And then it's not a mate because they've got this escape hatch. But it could cause some problems. They're most likely going to take with the pawn. Take the knight here. And look, there wasn't much we could do about that. The knight didn't have any real good squares to go to. So he's going to be up, Mr. Silvo /_D. He's going to go up 4 points of material in the early game, which is tough. It's a tough thing to overcome, especially as white. You know, he is the better player. He's a 690, I'm a 641. But when you start out as white, if both of you are relatively even, you know, we're within 50 points, you got to win those games. If you're black, you can be fine with a draw. But you got to win those games if you're gonna start out with white. And smart move. We could get a little tricky here. So we've got a few options. So we could go bishop here, and then he's got two ways to block. He can go there, or he can go here and block. But you know, so we do have a bishop sacrifice here, and he can't take with the pawn. But what's unfortunate about that is he can take here. If we could go here, take bishop, take this pawn in front of the king, it's kind of a crafty move. But unfortunately, we can't. That stinks, because that would have been a nice move. I'm going to try to get this rook involved, move the rook over one, and then try to get involved up here, because We are down in material, obviously. You know, down 2 knights and a pawn, and I've only taken a knight off him. We do have an interesting offensive. Okay, and he is getting very aggressive, threatening. Well, you know what? Honestly, I'm not totally sure what that even threatens. You know, he can go. Doesn't make any sense. I presume he's going to try to get the bishop over here and threaten a mate in 1, I guess. I don't know. He doesn't have any mates in 1, or it moves that up. I'm not really sure what he's trying to do here. But okay. And yeah, we honestly, we really don't have a great move here. I'm gonna try to open up this dark squared bishop. I mean, it doesn't do a whole lot for me. But if he takes, then I'm gonna immediately threaten that queen and force that queen to move, or I take the pawn. So that's kind of the game plan here. Is bishop up here, queen's gonna move out of the way. It might make more sense to, instead of doing it in that order, once he takes, or if he pushes, that's interesting because you know, that I really don't like that because I don't want to trade. I do not want to trade pieces. I'm down in material. What can we do? What can we do? Man, is there a better move? So if I go, man, I really don't want to do this, but I guess I've got to trade. I mean, you know, whenever you're down in material and it's more than just a pawn, every trade gets closer to them winning. Because although you stay down 4, I'm down 4, but I'm closer to the end of the game. So it's never a move you want to make if you're down. But in that case, I didn't have a great option, so I'm down 3 now, and that's salvageable. I mean, we pretty much have the same position, but he's got a knight that's undeveloped, so that's something. And he's got a pawn pretty far down here on the board. And yeah, I don't really know what the point of that move was. And you know what we're going to do is we're going to push this pawn. We've got 2 defensive mechanisms here, the rook and the bishop. I don't know what the purpose of moving that rook down was. I mean, you control this 5th rank, but there's nothing on it. Yeah, I don't really know. One thing you do want to watch for as well, if any of you guys aren't super experienced, is the time. So it's kind of tough to see his time. He's got 27 minutes. I've got 24. And those moves, you know, you put your opponent into check when they've got a pretty easy out. I mean, it's kind of an irrelevant move, and what he's trying to do now is to protect his bishop. Alright, so we've got some options here, none of which are all that great, but Ah, shoot. Okay, well, I guess I got to take. I mean, it's pinned to my rook, so once again, you know, don't love taking it because he's gonna take back. But yeah. Now this knight doesn't have. The knight can't go there. It's not gonna be able to go here because I've got the. I'm forcing this bishop to move. So honestly, the knight's in a pretty weak spot, and he's threatening my rook, and I'm just going to. Which way do I want to go? So if he goes there, take him. Yeah, his knight, although he's up 3, his knight's kind of useless right now, because he'd have to move back and block his rook, and yeah, just move it to the side. Okay, that's an interesting move. Once again, this doesn't really help the knight dilemma. But what we can do, no, he'd probably, so you could pass this pawn, but then they can en passant you and take it here, and then I'd be cooked. So it is a tough spot. And we don't want to move these pawns. Oh, I guess pinning this. I mean, he's got an easy take back, but okay. And what you want to do here, you know, a lot of people will take, but that's not a good move because we're down pawns on this side. This move right here, pushing the pawn, it kind of gridlocks this position, and it also immobilizes his bishop, because his bishop can't go here, it gets taken. His bishop can't go here. His bishop, I guess, has access to this square and this square. Yeah. Ooh, that's not good. That's not good. Okay. That's tough. That is tough. And, you know, we're going to go off the wall here. But, okay, so if we push and he notices, because if you pass a pawn with a double, they can en passant you and take back here. Should we risk it? Because what we can do is we can force the rook out of horn. You know, I don't think it's the best idea. I'm gonna. If he goes here, I'm gonna take with the bishop. If he goes here, I'm not thrilled. I'm not thrilled. I would have really liked to push and force his rook out of the way, but I guess that's fine. So far, though, a relatively even game. Okay, and he pushes, kind of expected, and And honestly, what's probably ideal is to let him take here, and then I take back to keep this. Because if we take here, then he pushes. Honestly, probably doesn't matter all that much. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to... honestly, he could just take that. He could just take it, but I do want to get this. I do want to get this bishop out of the way, so I'm fine trading. I'm fine trading. And we are playing. Well, I guess he's black, so he's playing the. Yeah. See, we could push. That'd be such an interesting move. So, obviously if we push, nah, it doesn't really make any sense. That's fine. Kind of log jam him up here. No way to get through. He doesn't have an easy way to get any of these off the board. It's all right. And this knight, he's still up 3 points of material, but this knight's kind of useless. The pawns are, these aren't touching, but there's no clear breakthroughs. And it's really just a knight that might get activated soon, but there's a good chance I can keep that knight out of the game. Now, he does have, obviously, some pawns close-ish to promotion. And does it make more sense? Oh, that would have been a blunder. I thought about taking the bishop with this, but then he would have taken back. Alrighty. And we are still kind of at the same spot, same pawns and same ranks. Both have a rook in not super useful places. And then a knight. And yeah, that really doesn't, he can retreat back, which if he retreats back, that's probably the best move for him. But yeah, this is a good pawn structure over here, and especially considering the knight. And then I'm gonna slide over here, put him in check. And this isn't a bad spot for my king to be in either. Even if he can't, what sucks for his rook is his rook. Okay, so now he's trying to open that up to get his knight free, which isn't great for me. But we're gonna start putting his. Oh, but he can't take this. He cannot take this because of this pawn. And he also he also took up the spot that he wanted to move his rook to, and now he's defending. He's defending his pawn with his rook, but it's like that doesn't really do anything. And honestly, I can't really do anything either. This could become a stalemate. One move he probably should have played. If he played, that's something I gotta be careful of. Wait, does he have a knight? So his knight's gonna go. His knight can go here. That doesn't really do anything. But what he could have done with his rook is he could have went here and then forced me to this square and could have taken my pawn. So I don't want to get on the same level as any of these pawns because he can take it. So I'm just gonna drift back in here. That would have been a winning move for him though. And what he's trying to do, it's insane how useless this knight is. If he goes here, it gets taken. If he goes here, it gets taken. Curious what he does with it, though. And we do have a bit of a problem developing over here. Because honestly, no, I could pull my rook back. But what I was gonna say was at any time he could go here and then take the pawn and then move out of the way, take this one. But I've got the rook. I've got the rook in defense. Well, actually, I don't really have the rook in defense because if he moves here and then I move here, he just takes. So that's why we need to. That's why we need to be here, that's why we need the king here to protect the rook. If he goes here to try to take, okay, we gotta lock in here. So he's got this move, which, Yeah, he's finally got the knight into a better spot. And the knight can go there and threaten the rook. And the knight can go here and kind of infiltrate the back line. I wonder where he wants to go. I wonder where. If he goes here, prevents me to move backwards. Huh. I guess we slide back here. I don't know. It doesn't look good. I'll say that for sure. Alrighty, and what he is doing is he is threatening. He's threatening this pawn. And is there anything we can do so we can move this pawn? He's got this move. He's got this move to threaten the rook again. I guess he's probably going to take it. And so uniquely bad spot. Yeah, there probably isn't a way to win out of this, unfortunately. Now, can we capture the knight coming back out? So the knight has this square. I don't know. So the knight could return back there. I don't know. We got to get creative. We got to hope he blunders here. If he blunders here and takes with the pawn, then I'm going to take the rook. I'm going to take the knight, and he might just take back with the knight. But I mean, there isn't much I can do. But maybe he blunders and I can take the knight and then get active on this rank. Maybe. But his best move is to take with the knight. I mean, if he takes with the knight, it's probably game over. Game over. And he's got this, he's got this, he's got this. And I can't even go there. I can't even go there. I don't know. And he can get on this last rank and force some checks. You know, go here, force me up, go here, force me back. And get the knight involved. He's probably got a mate. He's probably got a mate in less than 5. Yep. But we still do have to stay focused. Sometimes there's blunders. Sometimes there's tying opportunities. You know, a tie. All right. So if he takes, what can we do? What can we get? Can we get interesting here? I mean, there's gotta be something. All right. So what's our legit last hope? Last ditch effort to win this game? We gotta keep this rook alive. That's a must. That is a must. Oh my gosh, this is a disaster. We somehow we gotta get this rook here, and then if we get him here, we can get into some checking. Honestly, it won't even matter because there isn't anything to get tricky with. But here we go. Here we go. Yeah, it's kind of a It's kind of a useless, but what? So if his rook can go. Oh my gosh. I left him open for a knight for, yeah, oh, that's brutal. That's brutal, but here's what we're going to do. We're gonna hang out over here. And if he doesn't get any of these to promotion, we could maybe get a stalemate. Is kind of the goal. And honestly, we probably want to leave this knight on the board because knights create a lot of potential stalemates, especially with a rook and a pawn. You know, we could maybe get lucky and get a stalemate, which would end up being a win because we get 2 points of ELO from that. And he's getting he knows. Yep. He knows it's a tricky spot for him. And we're gonna hang out here. If he brings the knight over, oh my gosh, how did we do it? How did we do it? I baited him so hard. So in a note, we're gonna play another game because it's not right for you guys to not see a winner or loss in these series, but we're gonna do a little game review. I'm Zipper.
Nice job escaping with a stalemate.
Oh my gosh, shut up. So I was up to start the game and it went downhill quickly. I did play as an 81. You know, I had 81% accuracy at 85, so he was the superior player on today. A lot of good moves by both of us. No blunders, and we played pretty evenly, you know, and nothing crazy. But he ended up what I looked for at the end, you know, when you can't win, when it's just not possible, especially if you can go up in ELO, because I went up 2 points in ELO, so that's getting me closer to my goal. Is I wanted to keep the knight on the board. That's the key thing. The knight has so many different webs and stuff, and the rook as well. And I wanted to get myself trapped in the corner. And crazy enough, he let me trap myself. What he wanted to do was he wanted to get another queen. But I was hoping once I went here that he would do something like this. Or even like, this would be perfect. That would be perfect. But yeah, we're going to play another one. And see if we can get a win. That was a tie. And we are playing Raheem from Singapore. I am a 643. He is a 631. This is about as even as a matchup as you can get. So we're going to wish Raheem luck. He's shown me flair. I don't know what that means. I'm not a diamond status. I'm not good enough to get to those ranks. And he's matching my moves, you know, protecting the pawn with the knight. Nothing crazy. And I'm gonna get kind of aggressive in this game. You know, last game I was playing on the defense. I was on the back foot. But we're gonna get aggressive here. And he's matching my moves. He is matching my moves. But I wonder if he's gonna take it too. And I wonder how far he'll take the match. I'm going to take the pawn just for funsies. I wonder if he'll take it as well. Or if he'll retreat his bishop back. He's thinking because his plan, he was trying to mess with me. He was just going to match my moves for the first 5 moves. And that was pretty unorthodox. Oh, okay. So he took as well. And yeah, his plan was he was going to try to get me to take the rook, and then he takes my queen. But yep, we're even on numbers, and he is threatening that piece. I am going to castle because my pawn is defended by my queen. And he's threatening it with another piece. So we're going to have to defend in a in another manner, and that keeps his knight from coming here or here or here. His knight can only go here, and now he's getting his queen involved. Very aggressive to start this game open. And we've got to be careful, because if he gets this bishop here, that's game. So bishop comes here. We got to be very careful what happens. What happens from this point. But we are going to pin that knight, keep that knight in that place, and take. And I don't like the queen really just staring down that pawn. It's a dangerous spot to be in, especially with this rook. That rook could get involved and just come down and rain terror on my fortress. And I expected he would just kick this bishop out with a pawn. He hasn't done it yet. He could. What? That is a bonkers move. A bonkers move. Wowzers. And I love this. I love this because his queen's going to take, which gets the queen out of that firing line. I assume his queen's going to take. Maybe his pawn takes, but that's a complete... Yeah, there we go. And look, it was just a blunder on his part. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to put the king in check. I'm going to take the bishop. I mean, this is just pitch and catch. I mean, that was just a poor performance by him in check. I don't care how he blocks. It doesn't even matter. If he blocks with his rook, he's in big trouble. Big trouble. Because I'm going to take this bishop. Then I'm going to take the rook. He's going to have to move the rook all the way. It's going to be a total mess if he blocks with the rook. But I'm taking this knight regardless. Whatever he does, I'm taking it. I'm getting aggressive. I'm going to win this game early. That tie is ridiculous. And for any of you still watching after that lackluster first game, that's excellent. I appreciate the dedication to the road to 1,000, the viewership. Alright, so he makes that move. You know, it doesn't really matter what move he made because I'm going here. And I'm not going to be able to get the rook because that rook stayed home, but I am up 3 points of material. I probably will be able to, yep, I'm going to be able to take this pawn. But we got to be careful here because if we open up this rook, well, we have to open up the rook, but if we open up this rook, beaming right down on this square, if he can get this pawn out of the way, that could spell for a lot of trouble. But whenever you can take pawns, take the ones closer to the middle. It's gonna be a general rule. And he needs to move his he really thinks that I'm just gonna give up. You know what he thinks is gonna happen is he thinks I'm gonna take here and I'm gonna just let him push and then open up a mate, and it's just like that's not gonna happen. That's not in my DNA. I'm not a noob like that. So I'm gonna let him take. I'm not a dummy. And yeah, I'm gonna let him take. Gonna move this rook up. Yeah, and he might push, and if he pushes, that's a little bit of a problem. You know, it's a passed pawn, but I'm not. Yeah, that's fine. And we just stay in this position, and he still what he wants is that pawn gone, a mate in one. It's just like, come on, buddy, I'm not giving that up. We're not noobs here. We are not noobs. What he could do that'd be interesting is if he sacrifices the rook. That wouldn't really make all that much sense, honestly. Oh, he could sacrifice, and then I come up and take, because I'd have to take. Then he comes again, and this would be if my queen's not here, but takes, I move up, checks again. He could get very, very tricky if I move my queen off this and just keep. Okay, so he's. I wonder what the purpose of this. Wonder what the purpose of this move is. So he's looking to take the pawn, obviously. And then I'm just going to defend it. I'm not... I guess he's looking to take the pawn and then put the rook... Okay, well, so he's not looking to take the pawn. But he is... I guess you can take that pawn. There's nothing I can do about it. And we're just going to defend. If he takes here, I take. If he takes this, I take with the rook. That's all right. There wasn't... Oh, we've got a insane move here. And let me check. Let me make sure he doesn't have an insane move. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put the knight here. He's immediately going to react with the queen because he doesn't want to lose the queen. But here's the trick. The queen's going to come over and mate him in one. If he's smart and moves this up, then he loses the queen. So this is a tough situation for him. But let's make sure. So, yeah. Nothing he can do about it. Either he loses the queen. Most likely he's going to react. He's going to move that queen out of the way because he doesn't see this mate in one. Let's see if he sees it. I told you I was going for an early mate. I wasn't messing around. I was not messing around. He's thinking. He's thinking. He might have calculated. He might have said, okay, what do I do here? And honestly, what the best move is to probably just move this pawn up and just lose. Come on. Come on. Before I do it, let me make sure he doesn't have a way to take it that I don't see. That's game. That is game. And, oh, I didn't get a brilliant. That's unfortunate. I would have loved to have gotten a brilliant for that one. And let's... Wow, so this is kind of surprising because, you know, I'm up 3 points material, which is helpful, but I'm surprised I had that much of an advantage in the game. Interesting. But we are going to check out the stats and look at rapid. And yeah, so this is what's been happening. You know, start out 569. Well, it started out below that, and we are at 655. So in the 60th percentile, we are better than 60.1% of players. And we have been on a pretty good little streak here. 8 wins, 1 draw, 3 losses. And thank you all for watching.